Welcome to the African Voice YouTube channel. Albert Rokwaro, your host here. Today, I want to take you a little back in history and show you where we are, where we have been, and why we are where we are now, and the way forward. Remember that for hundreds of years, one of the major trades in the world was the slave trade. From the 1600s, the 1700s, all the way to the 1800s. Slavery was one of the biggest businesses in the world. And the commodity, the one commodity that was traded in that trade was human beings from Africa. It was extraction of the most important commodity, the most important thing you can get from people, other people. And wealth was built. To this day, there's wealth that survives from the slave days. There are people in the West who are to this day enjoying the proceeds of slavery. They have cleaned it up, of course. You can't trace it back to that, really. And that's okay. And then a stroke of consciousness hit them, and they decided to stop it. But when they stopped it, they decided, oh, we need to do something else, because this continent, we cannot just leave it alone. So they brought in colonialism. And in 1884, they joined together, they sat down at a table in Berlin, the famous Berlin Conference, where they subdivided the continent amongst themselves. You know, countries like Britain, France, Belgium, Germany. They all sat down and decided, this will be my portion, this will be your portion, this will be my portion. Go and exploit those people. Get what you can get out of there. I will not bother you on your side, don't bother me on my side. And they did that for years. And if you look at the common thread between slavery and colonialism, there are two common threads. One is that it was an extraction business, getting something out of Africa into their countries. Human beings first, then commodities after that. And number two, the other common thread is that there were always African middlemen in that. There were African middlemen who sold other Africans to slavery. There were these tribal chiefs then, people in authority, who would raid other countries, other nations, other tribes, and get their people and sell them to slavery. And the interesting thing is, today you can see the wealth that slavery brought to the West. You can see that to this day. But you can't see any wealth that these stupid people who sold their own people left to generations after them. There's nobody today who can say really that, hey, I'm enjoying the wealth that was left by my great grandfather who sold his fellow human beings to slavery. Just a stupid trick. And it ended, and then colonialism started. And colonialism is just extracting commodities: gold, silver, diamonds, rubber, coffee, cash crops, just getting them for cheap and making money out of it in their own countries, in the Western world. And that has continued to this day, only that it was interrupted in the 60s when, we fought, some people fought real battles, like in Kenya with the Mau Mau and all that, and in Algeria, all that. Others was political agitation, and they gave us independence. They said, oh, we're gonna let you people have your own country, a sense of self-determination and all that. But that was a smokescreen. It wasn't anything meaningful, because what they did is that they replaced themselves as the masters. They put their own, our people, some that we call our leaders, they put them as the new masters. They're just supervisors. They're the new slave traders who sold others to the West. Now, these people are facilitating this international trade that does nothing but exploit our people. And it is sad that we fell for it. But we did. We fell for it. We have tried to form our own countries, to develop our countries. At least I will say that we have a semblance of a civil service, a semblance of an education system. All of them are dilapidated. They are not funded because there's no wealth to fund these things. These things need money for them to be at the standard that they are supposed to be. But at least we've built them. So all we need is to get money now and really, really work on it and make them viable. But then these leaders we have today, a lot of them, including the African Union, they are all agents of these people. We even go ahead and establish embassies in these countries, with people we call trade attaches and ambassadors and all these people. We pay them, but what they do is facilitate our exploitation. They just facilitate it. They help these countries and they get something in return. So that you see the political class in Africa is rich. The best way to become rich in Africa is to join politics. And if you get to the highest level, oh, you're a billionaire. Because you're getting your cut from our resources that are being sold to these people, the multinationals of the world, the big corporations that are sent, that come to do business with us, but they are protected by their governments because they pay taxes to these people. So we end up being losers at the end of the day because we are not in charge of our own stuff. And the reason we're not in charge of our own stuff is the same reason that slavery flourished and colonialism flourished. Tribal divisions. They come and divide us. They divide us into they make sure that they exaggerate and they manipulate our tribal feelings, our tribal emotions. And now they are even exaggerating. We are now even fighting each other as countries. Oh, we are better than this. I've seen a lot of Kenya versus Nigeria, or Uganda versus Tanzania, or whatever. All those divisions. Those divisions do nothing else but facilitate our exploitation. And I'm here to tell you that we have to do something about it. We cannot continue the way we are. And we have an urgent need for this. We have young people, very young people who have nothing to do. They are not getting jobs. They are not getting opportunities. They are not establishing families. They are getting frustrated. And we are the youngest continent in the world. We are rich in human resources. We now have some educated people. A lot of our kids now have gone to school, at least the basic and secondary schools. A lot of them have also gone to college. And that is why if you look at any kid in Africa who makes it to Europe or to America, all they need is a few years of college and a little bit of assimilation, and they do very well. Africans are the most productive immigrants in America right now. You look at the productivity of Africans, their work ethic, how much they earn, and you'll be shocked that they are doing this. If they had remained back in Africa, they would be frustrated, and that is why you find a lot of kids today, they can't wait to finish school to try and get out of their countries, out of their African countries, and go to Europe and go to Saudi Arabia, where horror stories happen. Right now in Britain, I've seen kids are being put in a barge, in little boats, because Britain is saying they're not coming in. We don't have room for them. We're going to put them in a barge. And these are kids who have trekked through the Sahara Desert, made it across the Mediterranean, made it to Europe, Southern Europe, trekked all the way, and then took another boat across the English Channel to Britain. And the moment they arrive there, they find authorities there waiting for them to put them in a boat. And they are put in a boat, almost like the victims of slavery were put in a boat and taken thousands of miles away from their homes to work for other people. Now there are kids floating around Britain. They have not entered Britain, they're just sitting somewhere in the ocean. And that is just so sad. And we can't fight this as individual countries. You can't fight this as an individual. These people will finish you, you know. An example is Muammar Gaddafi. He tried it. What happened? You know, I've seen Julius Malema making some good noise, but I can tell you, these people have the power to finish you and silence you. The only way we can get out of this is for all of us to join together. Northern Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, West Africa, let's all band together and try and make a united Federal Republic of Africa, because that's the only entity that can stand up to these people, that can start building systems that will help us negotiate better deals, that will fend off these exploiters. You know, today you look at commodity prices, what they are paying our people, and I'll give you an example of coffee in my own country, Kenya. You know, today a kilogram of coffee is about 150 Kenya shillings, 160 Kenya shillings. That's about $1. And that's a kilo. How many cups of coffee do you think you can get out of a kilo of coffee? And a cup of coffee in America will set you back about $3 to $5. Now, is there any fairness in that? No. But who is there to fight for us? Kenya, as a country alone, cannot do it. They are depending on these people for loans and for security. You know, we have military bases that these people have established in our own country. Do you think you, as a country, Kenya can do anything? Or Uganda? Or Rwanda? They complain. Their leaders complain. Their leaders fight and complain. But there's nothing much they can do. If they try anything, they will be sanctioned. If they try anything, they will be eliminated. The only way to do this is for all of us to do it ourselves, from the grassroots, the people themselves, not the leaders. Let the grassroots start, and the leadership comes from the grassroots. Okay? The power has to come from the people. And the only way to do it is by talking about it, by engaging in these conversations. Now we have social media, you know, and don't fear the tribe. They use the tribe. They use these countries that they divided in Berlin to divide us. But we are now more educated. We are now more aware. We don't fear that. We will overcome that. We are not stupid enough not to know that I, being a Kikuyu, does not give me any advantage over the Yoruba guy in Nigeria. We are all together, you know. Let us know that and show them that we are brothers and sisters, and this is our land, the land that God gave us, and that we are going to take it back. We are taking this land back now. We are taking our power back. And this is the time, people. This is the time, because they are divided now. The West is having its issues with democracy. The West is having its issues with climate change and all these things that are happening. We need to strike this iron when it's hot, and this is the time. It's a matter of urgency, my friends. It's a matter that we need to work on now. So please, wake up, start talking about this. You don't need to do anything. You're not raising, it's not a call to arm. No, I'm not calling out for people to fight. I'm just calling out people to talk about it. Talk about the advantages of having a federal Republic of Africa that can fight for us, that can protect us, a big umbrella. Let's talk about this, and one way of doing it is by sharing this video, liking and subscribing to this channel, and then talking about it with your friends. And thank you so much for indulging me. Have a good day. Bye-bye.